This is your demo in under 20, and we are going to go over a selection of wheeled nippers and other kinds of nippers, how they cut certain materials. And many people ask about different ones that come on the market, or maybe they've never seen them before, but there are a lot of really good nippers out there that can do the job for different materials. And maybe you have seen some of these, maybe you haven't. So what I'm going to do here is you're going to see me cut certain materials with certain tools. I will not use some tools on some materials because I do not recommend things like using wheeled nippers on ceramic tile. I don't recommend using compound nippers on stained glass. So it just depends on the material and what you're cutting, but I'm going to give you a lowdown on how to cut each of these materials and the tools that I prefer. So come back and we will get this demo started. Okay, so let's start with the basic ceramic tile. This is a low fire tile. It is just your typical tile that is used in bathrooms, walls, countertops, anything interior that is not going to require freeze thaw, water, that sort of thing. This is your high fire tile. It is more dense, it's fired at a higher temperature, and it is good for exterior, it's good for freeze thaw, it's good for water, and those types of things. These are pretty much the three tools I recommend, including possibly a hammer to sometimes break the tiles when you're working in large quantities. But both of these tiles do cut a little differently. So let's start with the low fire tile. Now, one of the great things about this tool, which has the wheel and the breaker on it, is it's similar to the stained glass with a scoring wheel and then like a running plier, a way to bend and stress the tile after you've scored it to give it a clean break. And I know there are a lot of mosaic artists out there that when they do work in ceramic tile, they want to have very clean edges and not have them do the shattered effect that ceramic can do. And I will show you what that looks like. But let's just say we were to start with this ceramic tile and we wanted to use this wheel. We're going to, you want to hear that scratch sound just like you do with glass, and then you're going to open it up and you're going to put your stressor or the rubber part on this side, and then on the back side you're going to have that metal piece I like to hold with some firm grip. And look at how nice of a break you get. You won't have that shattered glaze that happens when you use the SideBiters, which I'll demonstrate in one moment. Really, really nice, right? So if I were to say, hey, I just want to get some squares out of this, that's great. But do you see that? So now I'm going to have to come in with some kind of tool to have to sand that off or smooth it out if I don't want to have that shattered effect. So that's how, two ways that you can cut with these tools, and they'll all be listed in the course, how to cut with the low fire ceramic tile. Dull Tile was the brand on those. This is high fire tile. High fire is going to really be challenging. So you want to bring in your compound nippers, and compound nippers are great for this type of material. They're also great for marble. And you can see that you can get a nicer, it definitely will give you a nicer effect of the glaze than the low fire. But it is going to be a challenge to cut these. So I have done entire commissions in high fire tile, even though I'm in the California climate, because I know these are going to be solid, they last, they do have beautiful colors, and they do make great shapes when they cut because you don't have the shattered glaze effect. Compound nippers can be great for this. They can be great for marble and stone as well. So if you're getting into those materials and you don't have a hammer and a hardy, you can also use the compound nippers. Okay, when we come back, I will set up and show you some of the glass cutting tools. Okay, who doesn't love a good lineup of nippers to see what works? Here I am doing all the work for you. Happily, my favorite thing to do is just demonstrate different ways that we can use a lot of the tools that are out there for our industry and what works best and most efficient for us. So here we have a Mexican smalti tortilla, part of one, Italian smalti here, Mexican smalti here, dirty tile there, stained glass, red stained glass, and a piece of china. So I have here Starretts. Starretts are really wire cutters, but they've become a great tool to use in the mosaic world. They are incredibly expensive, where you try and find them anywhere from $300 to $500. What's great about them is these wheels, loosen them, and these blades can separate or come closer together depending on what you want to use them for. So I just have one pair of these I keep in my studio for special occasions, but it is really good to use these for super thin stained glass. Sometimes you'll find vintage stained glass that's really thin, or Filati. These things can push really close together. You want to make sure you do it evenly. Like, don't just push one over. You got to make sure you push them both over evenly so they meet where you want them to be. Next, we have our Leponitts nippers. These are pretty popular, and most mosaic artists know about them if they're working in some form of glass. I do not recommend these for any kind of tile or stone or any hard material. It will screw up your wheels. These are the Bolle brand Zag Zags, and they come with a little cotton bag, if you like, that can shoot your shards can shoot into and save them so they don't go everywhere. I don't like it. It annoys me. But these are great wheels, and you can see these get pretty close together. So the other thing you always want to look at is how close together can your wheels get, because that's going to put more tension on the material you're cutting. These are Montolits, and a lot of people know about Montolits. Montolits we like to call the burly nipper. They're pretty strong, and if you're not going to be using a hammer and a hardy for cutting some of your smalti, then this is a great tool to use. These are the QEP wheeled nippers. New to me, maybe people have been using them for a while. I like them. They're very light. They have numbers all around them, so you can keep the life of the wheel and match up your number as you use them. It comes with, I've already taken it out, but it came with a Allen wrench, and that's how you would adjust the different things. The other thing that's great about these is that it has 3 adjustable ways to hold your wheels closer together. So that's the 0, the 1, and the 2. I like it on the 2. Always know that if you need your wheels to get even closer together, you can always drill these little nubs down so they're not as long, and this is what's stopping the wheel. It's not just the spring, it's those little nubs are touching each other, and that is what's making these wheels stop being close together. So if you want, you can get your drill out or some kind of shaving tool out and shave down those nubs, and your wheels will get closer. These are the offset nippers. You can find them at Mosaic Supply. You can, I think, find them on Amazon, but these are great. They're a little offset, but they do a great job cutting both of the Italian and Mexican smalti. I really like these for a straight cut. So what I thought I would do is kind of run through demonstrating how these different tools work. Now, the where I have these set right now, they won't fit either of the smalti, but I will show you with the stained glass how they cut, and it's a pretty nice cut, and we'll get a little piece going first. Here, let's get a couple little pieces. And if you didn't know, red will always shatter, not always, but can shatter because of sometimes it's made with gold, and so it can be fragile sometimes. It can be a little squirrely. So really light. You barely have to nip these. And I know Donna Van Hoosier is a huge fan of these. And what I do love about them, see how small that piece is, and I want a straight cut? Ta-da! Straight cut. Wait, we can do it again. So if you want to make like that little glint in the eye of one of your animals in stained glass, and you think your Leponitts are going to do it, no. You want to get something that can make something this small exactly the intention you want. But like I said, pretty high on the budget. This one's in the $300 to $500 range. So just so you know, I keep one in my studio. That's it. for cutting the what I need to cut with those. So the Leponitts are kind of, like I said, it's the industry standard for wheeled nippers. It's really great for cutting certain things, but remember, there's a lot that has to go into Leponitts to make your cuts really straight. And one of them is keeping your wrist straight, keeping your glass straight, your wheel straight on your glass or whatever direction you want that cut to happen. But really, and then keeping those pieces of glass in the center of your wheels. If you have them offset too much, you're going to get a wonky cut. So really focus. You got to focus on those things. Your wrist is straight. It's not, unless you want to, if you want to get a curve, you can create curves. It's not that hard. But if you want that straight cut, which a lot of people get frustrated with, you really got to keep your wrist straight and make sure your glass goes right in the center. And these are really good wheels. These are brand new, so they're really clean. So again, I can get really small cuts with these, and I just got to really pay attention to where the life of the wheel is. And I'll show you a little bonus section in the end, how to remember to do that. All right, let's talk about the Zag Zags. Zag Zags don't close as closely as you'd probably like them to. That's probably just enough to cut this stained glass. Yep. But it was a little hard. It's like really snap a lot to get them. Does a great job on a straight cut. Can get really small. Can get our little tiny pieces out of that. But remember, it's just not as sexy as some of our other nippers. But I'm getting a straight cut. And really, that's the important part. But remember, again, wrist is straight. Glass is really in the middle. And it's straight in the line. Boom, straight cut. That's how you want to work with the boles. So those three kind of did our stained glass. Now we're going to move into the smalti with these three. And you definitely can cut stained glass with these guys, which we can do now. And then we'll just do the other three materials. So here is my QEPs, and really light snapping, easy. I like them. These are brand new. Sometimes people are saying that they're having some issues with them, but maybe it is either the wheels need to be adjusted. These come with the numbers as well. So these ones are going to be adjusted. I think I just told you that, so that you can have fresh wheels if they get worn out. But really great. Now, these are opened at the widest, so I would be able to cut my Mexican smalti with these. So again, straight into the tool, straight in the center of the tool, wrist is straight, great cut, easy. I really like these because I really don't feel like it's giving my hand a workout. And sometimes the Leponitts and the Montolits can feel like that. So if you're not going to use your hammer and your hardy on your Italian or Mexican smalti, you can use these. Now this, the Italian, it takes a little bit more effort, but I'm still getting great cuts. So if I wanted to have something small like that, it's a beautiful cut. So if you're not going to use your smalti, you're not going to use your hammer and hardy, you can get some really great cuts with this tool. And you can get them at Wits End or Home Depot. So let's talk about the Montolit. The Montolit, like I said, is kind of like the burly tool of Mosaic. And if I wanted to get a chunk of this Mexican smalti tortilla off, but I don't have my hammer and my hardy, I can use this. I'm going to put the glass barely into the wheels, just at the edge, maybe pull it out even a little bit more. That will stress the glass more, and I will cut. Now, that may not have been the intention of the piece I wanted. So that's the only thing you have to consider, is that if you're going to use your nippers, you may not get, like if I really wanted that cut, I would have probably glass scored it with my glass score, and I would have put it on my hardy and just snapped it, and it would have snapped where I wanted it. But if I'm out in the bush and all I've got are my Montolits, I can cut off pieces, but I'm not going to get exactly where I might want it if I had my hammer and hardy. So the Montolits are great for that. The Montolits are also great for smalti. I know many mosaic artists that prefer to use the Montolits over Hammer and Hardy, even with our glass pieces like this. The other thing you can do with the Montolits, I can't do it with these right now. You can do faceting, but that's a whole other thing we can talk about in another section. But you just can take off parts of the face or the crust, and you have a little bit more of a reflection of your glass in there from doing that. Then our last but not least are their offsets. And offsets are really great. They're really inexpensive and can cut. I think they're better for things like your Mexican smalti, something it can really grip onto. They open wide. They do offset a little, but look how beautiful that straight cut is. You can do the same thing, go the length of your smalti if you're trying to make some sticks, straight cut. These have really great blades on them right here. So for being as inexpensive as they are and opening as wide as they do, I highly recommend these. And again, like I said, it's in the PDF of where to get them. Really great stuff, right? Oh, it's getting me so excited. All right, last but not least, we have our piece of china. And this is a soft one, so it's gonna be pretty easy to cut. But again, boom, exactly where I want it. And then if I really want to have like just, this is getting a little challenging as it gets smaller. The other thing you can see that's a really important thing to learn, see how far I pushed the tile into, push the piece into the tile nipper? Sometimes it will actually stress, not sometimes, it will always stress the tessera better if you pull it farther out. Hold it and easy snip. Push it in all the way and it's a harder snip. Pull it out, hold it, easier snip. So now you have some really great patterns that you can work with if you're going to work in, you know, some kind of chaos yet. Maybe you're doing Rachel Sager's quilt blocking course. This is a great tool. Really easy on your wrist. Watch again, farther out, easy nip, take off some of this edge we don't want. And now you have a beautiful flower to work with. So you can collect your big and your small pieces. You can have all different styles. This is great. You can cut more. So easy to cut with these. So I'm going to tell you that if I had my favorites in the studio, it is these offsets. I really like the QEPs for stained glass. I do love my Leponitts just because I've been working with them for 20 plus years. These guys, I wouldn't need them in my studio unless it was something specific. These are great to have one pair of if you're really working in a lot of stained glass. And that does it. So there is your demo in under 20 of using different nippers to cut different tessera here at Mosaic Arts Online.